What is good, my people, my peeps? So I decided to jump back on here really quick and do this live because what's going on with this community? hmm I mean, real talk. It's as if the TI community is going to hell in a handbasket. Once upon a time, it seemed like so many years ago, but in actuality, it wasn't that many years ago, where people would come on YouTube in this community and they would actually have something to say, give insightful information, you know, help guide people through what is going on in the community regarding gang stalking. And now it's a joke. We are a joke in this community. It's as if the program has gotten to practically everyone and they can't cope. We should know by now, especially if you're not new to this, how difficult this program is for us all. But to make it or to turn an outlet that you came upon, found, searched, heard about, an outlet into a joke, almost a laughing stock. And trust me, I do understand and I do realize that um, this community has been infiltrated. I understand that. But it's as if there's no content of substance on here. Are we a joke? Have you uh, been swayed by the jokers of the community? Are you not concerned on how to actually provide or not even provide, because some people don't even provide or give content, share content, share ideas, but it's as if you're just waiting for all of this to just burn the hell up, and it's not going to happen like that. It's just not. It's as if people are more interested in going round and round, back and forth. And if it and sometimes it does have substance to a conversation or a disagreement, because even in families there are disagreements, you know? Hey Tony, the community has dried up. Well, that's exactly what it seems like. It's disappointing, and it makes me not even want to even be a part of this community anymore. Just um, share any ideas, or it's a joke. That's what it has turned out to be. You know, um, a pitiful joke. And I know sometimes we need to get away from the norm, and that's probably why we gravitate to negative content. And I cannot say that I have not saw negative comments. I can't say that I have not even been dragged into different beefs before. Not just because I wanted to beef with somebody or have an argument with somebody, but legitimately standing up for my name and who I am, and not just to be beefing with somebody. And I can understand other content creators being pissed the hell off when you have people on here that are just spouting off at the mouth and have no substance or even let me say something. Let me just say this. Content creators that are so-called guiding people, and I'm not just going to say chosen ones or target individuals, people that might just stumble upon their channel just because, guiding people the wrong way, having people being tossed to and fro with different belief systems. You see, those people in the Most High's eyes are going to pay for guiding people to hell, straight to hell. There is no way that you should be mixing different belief systems and then acting as if you're providing quality content and educational materials when you're not. It's just not happening. It's just sad. It's almost like if you're not talking about some kind of rapper being killed or some kind of something mainstream, it's as if everybody's minds are dead, along with the people who are sheeple out here not realizing that we are all under lockdown. We are all under lockdown, and the people that think that they're not under lockdown are the sheeples, the ones that, the ones that I thought this community was trying to help wake up. And I see why so many intelligent content creators have left this community. And they got out way in advance of it becoming a shit show. Because that's what it's become. A shit show. Where people are just regurgitating and regurgitating stuff that we already know as chosen ones, as TIs waking up. And it's disappointing because, I almost got my head chopped off for working in the media field. But this is nothing more than the media field itself. And if you can't see that when shows on TV or on radio stop getting played, or the the writers of those shows know that their time is almost up, if you've never seen a shift in a show, when you see those shifts, that means they know their time is up. So they try to come up with more innovative ways to keep you locked into their show. And sometimes it just makes the show go downhill. And that's what's going on with this community. The shows are going downhill. And if you don't know what I mean by a shift in programming, well, you've seen it in I mean, go back because I haven't watched TV in years, and I literally mean years. Um, the Cosby Show. Let's use that one as an example. When those cute little kids start to grow up and get older, you see, we know what draws people to shows. You know what I'm saying? Rooting. Cute little kids with their punchlines. Baby! Singing on the stairs. Those little punchlines that she had. When ratings start to go down, well, you see, you don't think the writers and producers are paying attention to that? Because shows are not just on just to have shows. Marketing is associated with that, you see. People pay to put their commercials alongside of those shows. So when they see those shows declining, then they bring the next cute one in, something to draw the attention back to the show. Raven. Let's introduce the big sister more, her husband, her family. Do you see where I'm going with this? The targeted community is going to hell in a handbasket because there's really no content creators that are on here providing substantial or content of substance. And even if you realize that people may be swaying to and fro from watching your content and you want to add something that is more worldly, nothing to do with targeting, why make it into a clown show? It's almost like I'm watching in living color, like a comedy sketch. And these people know what they're doing. They're a joke. There are only a few, like Renata, she has her channel. And she's had it up for a while. And like all of us who have provided content, started off with what we experience and what knowledge we've gained while we are on this journey. And so that is how her content was as well. But like I was talking about programming and content swaying to and fro, if you watch Renata's programming, when she does come on and she speaks to, her audience, if she's bringing something, mainstream information, because like I just said, I don't watch the regular programming of TV. You may think that because I work in a media field with radio that I listen to the programming. No, because I know that is mind control. Television is mind control. So no, I don't listen or watch. But some things come across these other platforms that have actually taken over your TV programming and your radio listeners. So you're going to hear about certain things. And if you are a chosen one, if you are a TI, then you can help other people actually decipher things like street there are false flags when these school shootings occur, or how to react to things of that nature. And this is the things that Renata does with her program. I'm not trying to tell you how to run your platforms. I'm just saying that a lot of platforms look like shit shows. That's what they look like. They don't look informational. But you see, that's what happens with all movements. You see, that's what happens with all movements. The people that are actually wanting to receive some kind of relief or try to present evidence, present things as accurate and as professional as they can. And don't get me wrong, because I made comedy skits, movies, trying to break the just the horrifying reality that we've come to know as targeting, we've come to know as community watch, covert operations, we've come to know all of that. So I'm not saying someone shouldn't have a personality and display, their personality within this community, because I have. But within me, making skits or doing TikToks or whatever I do to break from the norm, it still has a meaning and a message behind it. And like I was saying, all movements at some point in time are, well, they're infiltrated and they're destroyed because they don't want anything that they're doing to come to the light, to be brought forth to the daylight. They want this community to be exactly how they have told you you were. Crazy, delusional. This is not happening. And so you've turned the community into a crazy, delusional community. You see those people, you can't trust what comes out of their mouths because look how they're acting. Crazy and delusional. One moment they're saying this, one moment they're saying that. You play it right into their hands. You've given them what they wanted. So now you don't have 2 feet to stand on. Straight to hell in a handbasket, this community. And the only reason a community would get infiltrated like it has been is because it was gaining traction. Gaining traction to be taken seriously. Now you have some clowns in here. And I mean clowns. Fake. Hmm. Only here to get a check because they don't care about your well-being at all. They don't care about anyone's well-being. They are truly here to get a check. You can't see the connection between these people. Oh, and there is a connection. And you see, if anything happened to anyone who's been associated with this community, well, that just makes it even harder for the police to take an investigation seriously. Because you're associated with the joke. It's almost as if you look at it, when prostitutes are killed on the streets and nobody really cares, until it becomes a serial killer type situation. Nobody cares about those type of people because they're like the throwaway type of peoples in the community until it becomes, ooh, it's a little too much, a little too, too many murders of the throwaways. Well, that's what certain content creators are making this community throwaways. I've come on live and I've said, speak positive when you're on these streets, these YouTube streets in these communities, because they're not original when it comes to the targeting, the street theater, the watching you. They're not original. But we have not, or we're not aware of this type of program from the beginning. So we've gotten to stages in the program where we pretty much know about the color coding, the sensitizing you to these different colors, the fire trucks and the alarms and the noise campaign. Well, we have the book. But guess what? We don't have the complete manual. You see, just like before you are awoken into this shocking reality, this new form of reality, you thought you pretty much knew how the world was, right? You thought you pretty much knew that the world, could beat you up. You have good days, bad days. But you damn sure didn't realize that it was so sinister that a program would be created. Blessings to you. That a program would be created to be so sinister to where it would have people knowing something is taking place. People are watching them moving things in their homes. All of the manual that we all have come to know, the playbook, chapters 1 through 5, because we don't know the rest. And this is my point. We don't know the rest. They have rock-a-bied you to sleep, made you feel comfortable, made you feel like you graduated from college, as if watching the Truman Show has told you everything you need to know about your enemy, because that's what they are. The Truman Show has told you everything you need to know. So you've been rock-a-bied back to sleep, just like you were rock-a-bied to sleep before you were awakened into the realization that you are a prisoner. But you see, in prisons, they can become horror shows. No, I've never gone to prison. But I can tell you, I've researched and watched different videos, documentaries, and that by itself has made me not want to enter a prison at all. The horror that takes place. Matter of fact, just last week, you know, they have cell phones in prisons now. I don't know what prison it was where they left the food outside of the prisoners' entryways while they were locked in. A prisoner hanging dead inside the prison cells. No guard in sight. That's the physical prison. That was just last week, aired on a live stream from a prisoner who had access to a cell phone, which most likely was an inside agent who they want you to see what they do to these prisoners. See, we're not in the physical prison. We're in the mental prison that you were awoken to. But many of you all think that you have the playbook because you watched The Truman Show, a few movies. I watched, like I said, a few documentaries of prison, you know, some movies, female prisons, male prisons, how they prostituted female prisoners against their will. Who cares? Nobody cares once you go through those doors what happens to you, because remember the prostitutes who get killed on the street until it becomes a mass murder. Serial killer is on the loose. Once they lock these prisoners behind these doors, who cares? You see, torture. You don't realize you are in a form of a torture. Because, see, when you were asleep, you were in a mental prison, but you didn't know it. And they have cracked the veil. Well, and the Most High has allowed that to happen for you. They cracked the veil. Torture. You see, when you view things through your eyes, your portals, you can never unsee them. Unsee the images that you have viewed. Everything that you have witnessed, everything that you are going through now, you see, is torture. Mental torture. Because you can see it. You know how I know that is torture? You see, when the Gulf War first started, when they said there were mass weapons, the lies they continue to tell, you don't understand your enemy. They study torture. You see the gangsters on the streets who think their weapons are so mighty, the guns that they have, and don't get it twisted. I'm not against owning and operating a firearm. I advocate for it. But we don't have the weapons that they have or the mindset that they have. Because, see, if you've never been to war and if you never studied war and the evil scientists that they had in war, like Hitler's scientists, torture, opening your eye portals because it's a portal. You see, when soldiers went over to Iraq, you may not have ever heard of stories of them torturing the people in Iraq where mothers were forced to watch their sons be raped. Watch, not turn their heads. They closed their eyes. They would kill them. Watch. Why is that? Someone explain to me why is that not torture? You see, once you see something, you can never unsee it. And this is what's sinister. Men of war who practice torture, you may have heard of waterboarding and different things of that nature. And these are aspects of torture. So making you view something that you can never unview, well, then that adds to this so-called diagnosis of PTSD and, you know. But by making this community ass backwards joke, they just may have you where they want you at, you see, because you don't know the next level of torture. Because this is not a cakewalk, you see. Like I said, every movement that you can even think about has always been infiltrated, just like this one. And if you're sitting back watching these content creators as if it's just a game, well, you better learn how to pick and choose the content creators that's giving you information, whether they digress sometimes and joke around or not. You need to pick and choose the content creators who are giving you information that may be valuable to you moving forward. I mean, do you think that this is going to end? If they've cracked the bell and you've already peeked inside, you haven't gone all the way down the rabbit hole. Remember, this economy has to collapse. Has to collapse. Whether You believe in the Most High God or not, it's in front of your face what has been prophesied. It's smacking you dead upside your forehead, whether you want to believe it or not. $6 worth of gas for what, a gallon? $8 a gallon. Well, the Most High God said a piece of bread would be a day's wages. I know you don't want to put those two together, but you should, because that's where it's going. And if we're already awoken into a mental torture of a society that knows, well, the powers that be know what they're doing to citizens that are, well, you chosen ones and you TIs, you are the, what are they? It was a movie. Resurgence? You are the ones they know. They can't control. The real chosen ones and the real TIs. You are the ones that they can't assimilate. That's who you are. And the ones that cannot conform to the program, well, just think about the analysis that I just gave you earlier about jail. Think about the ones in jail who don't want to conform. What's your number? What is your number? You know, the ones that don't want to assimilate. Think about slaves that still had that warrior spirit. The ones that didn't want to assimilate. What is your name? Kunta. No. What is your name? So when you think about these different scenarios, well, did you think it got easier for them? That is so funny. The enemy really, really is on me because my broadcast just got kicked off. It's so funny how that happens. Let me read some of you guys' comments. I received a prophecy last week about all the people that hurt a chosen one will suffer. Well, yes, indeed, yes. And I'm turning my camera back off, guys. My broadcast got turned off, and they hate for a sister to come on here and talk. Yeah, they will. They will pay for the ones that they put their hands on, the apple of the Most High's eye, the chosen ones. They're gonna pay, but this is I don't like to instill fear. I don't want to be a fear monger. I just want to be a truth teller. That's it. And sometimes the truth is a little scary. You have to prepare yourself as chosen ones, as TIs, as children of the Most High. And I say chosen ones and TIs because there are people who listen to me that are not believers. So I classify you as TIs still, but I know that you are being called for a reason. So, because the Most High wouldn't allow the veil to crack and for you to see what is going on in this world because so many people are still so very, very much asleep that in your minds, you have to not be afraid of death. I'm going to say that one more time. You have to come to a point in your thought process and understand that death is truly not the end of your spirit, because that's what you truly are, a spirit. And it's not the end, it's the beginning. And that's a fear that some people have as chosen ones and some people have as TIs. And maybe it's how they may pass away or whatever the situation may be, regarding the end of them. And I never come on here and talked about coming to an understanding, a place in your mind, fully knowing that you should never be afraid of death. The agony is real because we know in the Garden of Gethsemane, Yahweh Shah, when he came down here, he wanted the cup to pass from him. So this human experience that we are going through, the assimilation, can take a real toll on you, especially if you have to contemplate your end and you're not ready to contemplate that. Hell, there are some 90-year-olds that have not even contemplated their end because they're afraid. But I tell you, you may know some of the movie. You may know some of the playbook that they use, you know, hacking to your computers, all of that, your phones, all of that. But you don't know the full, you don't have the whole manual. And I just say it's sad that this community has been so infiltrated to the point of us being a joke. Because just like this economy has to crash and burn, and in the process of this economy crashing and burning, they have an agenda of population decreasing the population. So whether it be that you take yourself out, whether it be that the police take you out with 60 shots, mm, you are too strong minded for the level of control that they want to have over the population that they want to remain here. Because all of this is happening in stages. So it's disheartening for me to see that this community has come to a shit show where I mean people are playing hmm, it's just disheartening that this community has become a shit show because it actually, the people that I listened to, Zeph Daniels, in the beginning, so many people are gone or chose to leave this platform that was very educational and helpful. I mean, you have to realize that when people are awoke to this process, that they're going to be shook up, you know, because it's like waking up into a nightmare, not out of one, into one. And so when people come onto these YouTube streets, and who knows, and I tell you, I don't even know how I got on this platform. That probably was part of the program, to tell you the truth. Who knows? But I'm glad that at the time I found the people that I found, they were at least legit. They were so legit that they helped me out of situations that could have took me out, smooth up out of here. How to navigate, how to realize this is not a game. And it's never going backwards because there's a plan in place. Whether you think a woman or a man or whoever, it had to be somebody, your own people, which is shocking. To say the least, you would think there would be some sort of commodity, I can't even get the words out. Brotherhood, sisterhood. No. In their minds, it's survival of the fittest, and really, they're not that fit. They're just trying to survive. And, well, if they can do the stupid perp behavior that they do, and we all see that there are elevations to this gang stalking, and we see that the community, and if you haven't noticed, the community has changed and shifted to, and I'm not saying all content creators have gone, their platforms have turned to shit. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that it's, what's the definition of insanity? Doing something the same way over and over and over again and expecting a different outcome. Well, you see, that is what I'm saying. People repeating themselves over and over and over again, expecting a different outcome, or saying maybe a different outcome has occurred, but it actually has not, because this has become a game. We are at war, and we have been in war for a long time. It's hard to imagine that you're at war, but you're sitting listening to me on a computer or on your phone, feeling that you have some form of freedom. So it's hard to imagine, even though that you are being gang stalked and people watch you, they synchronize with you when you come out the house, they sit and watch you in their cars, and you might not feel that the war is that bad, because you don't. You don't see actual bullets. You're not getting shot, or you really can't actually prove the energy weapons that are shooting you or affecting your body, or the natural biological weapons that they use. See, these are monsters. They can't come at you like they would in a regular war, or have the sheeples wake up if they did come after you with bullets, actual bullets. They may shoot at you or over your head, or, in some people's cases, but if they were to be taking out targeted individuals like that massively, well, then that would wake up the mass of people. So that's why it's done like it's done. That's why the stages are set like they are set. My thoughts are just, if we have seen over and over again, and I think it's about 7 years now for me, just the beginning of the book, and we know that a collapse is drawing near. What is the next chapter? And the next chapter after that? And are you prepared for those additional chapters of this program? Because they don't care if you're a woman. No. They're going to send men to stalk you. They're going to send men to do evil things like they've been doing. They don't care if you're a man. They don't care if you're a teenager. They don't care if you have children. Hell, some of your children are being gang stalked. Little children. They do not care. This is how evil the program is. But by it being infiltrated and made to look like a shit show, like my title said, going to hell in a handbasket, this community, no one is trying to stabilize it. Well, I can't say no one. I've seen a few. To wake you up to realize you need to focus on the real chosen ones and TIs that are trying to give you information that's what's going on in the world, in the atmosphere, everywhere. You haven't realized what's going on in Cambodia. I believe it's Cambodia. Yeah. You're just watching people go back and forth. Let me tell you something. You've been rockabye back to sleep. They've stormed their capital. They've stormed their bank system. You know, we have, what do they call it? The national banks. There's only four. I think it's only four real banks. Is it Cambodia? I know some of you guys don't understand the realness of this whole program and the effect on you. Not just being B2K'd and not just being hit with energy weapons. We know all of that. We should be wanting to figure out what is the next stage of it all. That's what we should be wanting to know. And how we are going to navigate through the next level. Do you realize an election is coming up? You see, we know, or you should know, that your presidents are not elected, they're selected. November is going down. A new election is coming. A new puppet is about to be placed in front of you. But see, each puppet that is placed in front of you is, they tell you what the puppeteers want you to know. You remember, Trump told you a storm was coming. Biden told you to watch the waters. A new election is coming. The economy is crashing. They must ignite the fire. You see, they just had a little campfire here and there going on around the world, but they must unite the fire in order for their plans to come to fruition. You see, it must burn down before the phoenix can rise. Before their new world order can take place, the phoenix must rise from the ashes of the fire. You all are sitting here destroying a community that would actually could have helped you navigate. But some people think this is it's playtime, high school games. They don't see an explosion is getting ready to happen because you're not paying attention to everything around you. People, you, it's so hard for me to even be on here and talk to you all because I know most of my subscribers may be just trolls. And I hope that I do have a few subscribers that are truly chosen and TIs to know that there's a fire coming. You shouldn't be concerned about material things in this world. You should not be concerned about um, material things. There's a fire coming, guys. There's a new election, and I'm going to try to pull up this. I think it's Malaysia, where they just stormed their banks. I've told you guys about the banking system. That's part of the collapse as well. I just have bank accounts just for my direct deposit to go in, and once that bills are paid, whatever's in there is in there. If you got majority of your money still sitting in banks, well, you haven't started to shuffle that stuff around. If you have that much, God bless you. Your money is going to get stolen, Your accounts are going to get shut down, frozen, and you are not going to have access to your money. I've told you all to prepare yourselves with tangibles, tangible assets, whether it be going to the pawn shops, buying you jewelry, gold, silver, whether it be if you're able to get your flours and sugars and foods or things of that nature. Anything. I've told you this. Things are happening around the world that are going to come and they're going to happen here. It's foretelling. Whereas I want to show you all really quick before I get off of here how don't worry about stunting on people anymore. Those times are over. You're going to need to worry about who you can barter with. Because this system must go down and go into the teller machine and all of that and rolling up in your new 2022. Well, if you didn't know, the majority of these 2022 cars, automobiles, if you're buying new vehicles, you are wasting money. Most of those vehicles are being recalled or have recalls on them because there's a plot. They want cars to go to electric vehicles. So you're wasting money. And then they want you hard-headed ones, you chosen ones and TIs, they want you off the planet because you can't be controlled. That's what that is what the conversation should be. When you know you're not wanted and you know that hard times are truly coming. Let me see if I can pull this up really quick.
It feels amazing when we get the right person in the right position. Hello and welcome to telling you, right? They're both telling you while we're living through the highest inflation in 40 years. And prices would start to come down. It's a fair question and one I'd like an answer to. Then yesterday, Sri Lanka announced the country.
Sri Lanka. Excuse me. It was Sri Lanka. I'm going to turn the camera on so that you guys can see what is going on in Sri Lanka. Now, if you are a person who observes what's going on and takes notes, then you should realize that what happened overseas in Wutong or Wuhan a few years ago, it came across those waters and happened over here. I've been telling you the banking system is getting ready to collapse. I don't care if I got 2 coins in that bank, in any bank. It's going down. They're trying to move to digital currency. They're trying to get their sheeples in digital bondage. But see, if you are within the sound of my voice, well, then I hope that you hear me and hear me clearly. You should have tangible assets, physical assets to be able to still move about this earth. while the collapse happens. It's not going to last forever, but it has to happen. The fire has to come. You should be able to have monies to help you move. Not going to be transferring and wiretapping and all of that. Trust and believe. You've been had and hoodwinked if you think that you will be able to move around like that. Let me see if I can get to
bankrupt, it. With no ability to buy food, support their currency, secure fuel, or take care of the people. The people are in absolute panic mode as they run out of money, as they run out of food. They can't get to their jobs. So the people of Sri Lanka has had enough with their government leaders, and the people banded together and they attacked the prime minister. They also busted into the president of Sri Lanka's home by the tens of thousands. Tens of thousands of people busted their way into the president's house, which would essentially be the White House over there. And then they went and busted down the gates of the central bank in order to try to get in and get access to what money there was. So let me just roll some footage for you. I really hope the United States is not heading in this.
He says he hopes the United States is not heading in this direction. Well, I tell you this, we are. Central banks, they stormed their form of a president. Have you ever heard of Queen and Marie Antoinette? Like I told you guys, God dog it. I pretty much like history and things of that nature. And Queen and Marie Antoinette, that reminded me of something where your government, the United States of America, your not government. Let me correct myself. Your corporation of the United States of America, because you know that you are not under a government rulership. You are in a corporation and you are produce. But anyway, let me not digress. Queen Marie Antoinette, the same situation. History repeating itself. You see, if you are not rich, then you are the have-nots. So the gang stalkers and the ones that think they are doing something, they're in the same boat that we are in. The have-nots. Queen Marie Antoinette, her people were just like that crowd you just saw, storming the castle, starving, hungry. You heard the report. They can't even get to their own money. Like I've been telling you, and I've been saying this for months. You should be having some money somewhere other than in the bank. I've been saying this for months. Oh, you think you can have an offshore account? Well, those are offshore accounts. Central bank. People are starving. What do you think people do when they starve? You just saw them. They storm the capitals, they storm the banks, but the money has already gone. There's no money in these banks because you are being lied to. They are going to let you starve. Queen Marie Antoinette, when the people stormed the castle gates demanding food, her reply, let them eat cake. Well, I think that was the wrong answer, Queen, because they stormed the palace and her head rolled from the guillotines. Queen Marie Antoinette. History repeating itself. Every great society that has, you see, hmm, well, every great society that has done evil unto their population has fallen. Rome fell. Well, the United States is nothing more than a form of Rome, a form of Egypt. It will fall. The fire has to come, and and their phoenix must rise again. That would be their one world order, which is prophesied in the Bible to occur, and it will reign for 3 years. They will have their one world order for 3 years. But within that time frame of the fall, the great reset, and you knowing the horrors of your awakening, how will you navigate through these communities when we've been turned into a joke? Or is it maybe a little time left for some of us to get our act together and put out real information? This is not a game. When I came to you the other day about Amazon Prime moving their sale date to the 12th and the 13th, did you think I was joking about what is to come? November, election time, the holidays, Amazon Prime, put it together. I just don't come on here telling you about, you know, directed energy weapons and everything we know associated with gang stalking and everything we know associated with gang stalking. No. I tell you what's falling from the skies. I tell you about the portals being open. And I tell you about food shortages and community building. I never said it was anything wrong with having a disagreement or argument with a fellow TI or a chosen one, because we would be foolish to think that we would be kumbayaing each other every day, all day. Fallouts will occur, disagreements will happen. But when they do happen, this is where you need to have a council are people who legitimately want to come to a resolution that is not swayed by favoritism, but is judged only by truth, integrity, and maybe somebody will walk away but hurt. But the community, that's a shame. They keep kicking me off. That's a shame. But like I was saying, the community would still stay intact. But you would have to really have people that are vested in wanting to have a community instead of a gang. Because a lot of people's platforms and followers, they turned into nothing but online gangs. Well, everyone will soon see who truly has, or, well, who truly are loyal. You see, because when individuals' stomachs start to hurt, when their own children start to cry, when their own families start to fall apart, well, you'll see where the loyalty lies because you haven't developed a true community. And I'm off my soapbox for right now. I appreciate you guys stopping in and much, much love.